The lives of nearly 100 million disadvantaged people in China have changed beyond recognition over the past 8 years thanks to the poverty alleviation campaign. How was that possible? We took some of your burning questions to reporters covering 5 of the country's most deprived areas.
What are the key things that you think China has done to get so many people out of poverty within years?
Well, thank you. First of all, I'd like to say that's a great question, and I'd like to put it into context by telling you a bit about where I've been these past couple of days, which is Guizhou province. Guizhou province was once home to the largest population of people under the poverty line in the whole of China. Now, I just want to underscore that. That's the largest population in the whole of China lived here in Guizhou under the poverty line. The achievements made over the past couple of years in this regard are phenomenal. I've been really lucky to spend the past couple of days exploring a relocation town here and learning a bit more about the stories and about what's been behind the improvements to people's lives. And I feel that you can't really look at one village, town or province in isolation when you're talking about China's poverty alleviation campaign. It's an organic process. Everything has been about marrying all of the systems together, but at the same time looking at each individual place and working out what's best for them. In the case of this area where I am at the moment, it's about the local culture. How can that be motivated to create income for the local community? And they're lucky that the Yi and the Miao ethnic minorities have some wonderful cultural artifacts and traditions that tourists love. But not just that, it means that they can continue their own traditions in a community which is safe, warm and provides for their family. And as an ending point, I'd just like to pick up on the importance of education. A lot of the people I've spoken to here have talked about how moving to relocation villages like here has offered them the opportunity to give their children ideas and opportunities that they couldn't have themselves. So if I could summarise the achievements over the past couple of years and what's really motivated it, it's about 2 things. It's about looking at China as a whole and what does the nation need to help it stand up and become stronger. And it's also about looking at those smaller communities and understanding that each of them make the whole.
What has China done differently in the last mile of the poverty alleviating campaign?
I'm here reporting from Shibadong Village, located in a remote mountainous rural area in central China's Hunan province. It is exactly in this place that the idea of targeted poverty alleviation was proposed in 2013 in the first place. To finish the last mile of China's anti-poverty campaign, this strategy is featured by the targeted measure to address the various causes for penury in different locations. So despite this natural beauty and the scenic landscape, Shibadong Village was actually once poverty-ridden because of the rough terrain and inaccessible location. Well, therefore, a targeted effort kicked in to address this need and help build the local infrastructure and cultivate suitable agricultural and tourist businesses for the locals to thrive. So Shibadong Village was crossed off the poverty list in 2017. And as more and more poverty-stricken areas in China benefited from the targeted measures to lift the remaining poor out of poverty.
I'd like to share a few more points here from Hebei province. I'm now in Luotuowan village in Fuping County. 8 years ago, over 70% of the villagers here were living in poverty, and the last impoverished household shook off poverty last year. The changes in Luotuowan is night and day. Villagers nowadays have access to tap water, heating, and also modern home appliances such as refrigerators, televisions, and washing machines. The catalyst behind these inspiring changes is the idea that industrial development can support poverty alleviation. And in the case of Luotuowan, the signature industries are tourism and agriculture. So now I'm at this beautiful homestay, or you can call it a resort. There are over 200 rooms in this resort, and 70 employees working here are local residents from Luotuowan village. Their monthly income is at least 2,100 yuan. With hostels like this and also restaurants in the village, tourism has increased the income of local people. Besides, with the support from the local government, Now they grow cash crops such as apples and mushrooms with investment from companies and also agricultural cooperatives.
What has China done to help the ethnic minority groups get rid of poverty?
First, I have to say that the issue of China's 56 ethnic groups is part of the bigger family, and no one has been neglected during China's anti-poverty campaign, regardless of their population or location. Home to 56 ethnic groups, Xinjiang is one of the country's most ethnically diverse provincial-level regions. And in November this year, the Xinjiang bid farewell to absolute poverty. This is one of a myriad examples of how China's ethnic minority regions have capitalized on their strengths to shake off poverty. Where I am standing now is Aketao County in South Xinjiang. Aketao is one of the westernmost counties in China and is also one of the last 10 counties in Xinjiang to be deleted from the national poverty list. So how has this poor county shaken off poverty? Part of the answer lies behind me, a non-bakery workshop. Thanks to modern techniques and better equipment, this once homemade staple bread has risen to become a viable and profitable industry, with its products sold to markets, online platforms, and wholesale entities. It is said that this bakery can produce about 20,000 pieces of naan each day, and over 300 poor people have benefited from this business, with an average monthly salary of about $600.
Well, Xihaigu area in northwest China's Ningxia Hui Autonomous Region was labeled the most unfit place for human settlement in the 1970s by the United Nations due to land reclamation, drought, and fragile ecological environment. But beginning in 1983, Ningxia's 6 large-scale relocation projects have moved 1.23 million people to more habitable areas. And among them, 230,000 were moved to Hongsibu district of Wuzhong City. This is the largest community for eco-migration in China. So finding new homes is the first step. Then they need to think about boost income. And how has that been done? One way is developing industries. The local people have raised beef cattle and also have grown goji berries and grapes. The wines produced from Ningxia are getting famous not only in China, but also across the world. Another way to fight poverty is China's pairing up support scheme, which means affluent areas help less developed ones. The coastal province of Fujian has paired up with Ningxia. Entrepreneurs and professionals from Fujian have come here with various technologies to kick off special agricultural programs that also helped eliminate poverty.
China's poverty alleviation story is one of the great stories of the world that I believe future historians will look back to as a defining feature of our age. Certainly it is China's great achievement. I've been privileged to have an inside look at China's poverty alleviation campaign over the last 5 or 6 years or so, and it's been a life-changing experience for me to really see how everything works and why it works, and I've given it some good thought. And first thing I'd say is there's no better story to tell China's story to the world than poverty alleviation, because it shows the deep commitment of the leadership, particularly President Xi Jinping, to help the people of the country. President Xi has made poverty alleviation his highest priority. The UN has established poverty alleviation in its 2030 vision as a critical factor for humanity. And frankly, what China has achieved has been the vast majority of what the world was trying to achieve in these developmental goals.
The keys are the first one is the leadership of the party, of the Communist Party of China, taking care, looking for the people, and to analyze all these causes of poverty and to give different solutions to different places is another big key in the fight against the poverty in China.
The Chinese government has taken a very, very strong interest in making sure that as the economy goes forward, everyone goes forward together. You know, I've been following this for many, many years. It's been one of the unique facets that China has been able to offer the world. I mean, if you look at poverty eradication, poverty alleviation efforts worldwide, China accounts for the vast majority of it over this last 40 years.
You will imagine what it has taken for the party and government to oversee the largest exit from poverty by the largest number of people in the shortest period of all human history. This is outstanding, this is momentous, this is epochal, and this is instructive. And it is only gratifying that the Communist Party, has fulfilled its pledge under the very, very foresighted, focused leadership of President Xi Jinping. So it is a tough battle. It is easier said than done, but it is a promise kept. It is a promise made and a promise kept.